What happened? Hello? Well, I have no idea. All I know is I came back and I broke stuff. So, let's see. Welcome to Let's Have a Fifi. And I have to see how this is working, y'all, because I'm back and I broke the internet. That is what I did when I such a resurgence of the internet. It's not working. Hmm. Good for us, huh? Anyway, okay, so it is working, right? Can you hear me or can you hear Freddie? I can hear myself in the. Okay. Okay.
Weird.
Okay, now you're back. Wonderful. Welcome to season 11, episode 27. For more than 10 years, we have been fucking it up just like this for your Wednesday night conversation. Uh, uh, Welcome ish to Let's Have a
All
Fifi.
right,
I'm Felicia Fifi Minor, and I'm
you
back.
you talk and figure something out because I don't know what's happening over here.
Oh, ooh, and we got to figure out why your picture, your avatar, looks like me. That's weird. Anyway, um, yeah. So we'll get into where I've been in a minute. In a minute. Oh, my microphone does not want to stay up. You can get exclusive content on our Patreon. Hi, Marissa. We're in an oldie but goodie. Um, you can go to our Patreon and subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/ let's have a fifi. I actually did talk about a little bit, like briefly, about some of the stuff why I was gone, but I have not posted like online why I was gone. But Patreon gets to see it first and gets to know us a little bit better there. Um, I'm thinking like even like being a parent who's a drag queen may go in there. I don't know. If you're interested in that, let me know. But we like to thank our patrons, Brandon, Chris, and Michelle, Dee, Drake Jensen, Casey Starr, Carrie and Corey, Kim, Joan, Leanne, Nicole, and Shannon. Yes, keep supporting us, Annie. And then we want to give a special thanks to Success Boutique, LC Designs, and Wigs of a Kind. This is a Wigs of a Kind. I kind of beat her up a little bit. She's been through it, but she's still holding on for me. She's still holding on. I'm trying to fix this side, but I should have done what I was supposed to do, was brush her and love her on that side earlier, but I forgot. Anyway, so um then you can support us or tip us at paypal.me/let's have a fifi. Uh,
Okay, whatever the
uh,
fuck that was, it's fine.
I'm welcome back.
Thanks so much.
Anyway, you can get text alerts from me, and tasteful nudes are accepted by texting LHAF.
Are you
Just
sending those or are you
no,
receiving
not sending.
those?
I can't send. It's
Oh,
against community
oh,
guidelines that I send
oh,
them, but I can receive
oh.
them.
Well, that's
Um,
lame.
uh, you can do that at 602-730-7379. Yes, yes, yes. And if you're on Facebook, which most of you are, um, ooh, we get new wigs next week. Mm, mm, mm. Like the sound of that. Anyhow,
That's exciting.
oh, we'll have to post that on Patreon. Because we do unboxings on Patreon now, since that's where we live. Anyway, if you're on Facebook, there is a star button right below us, and that helps pay our itty bitty bills that are itty bitty at the moment.
I mean,
And
APS is looking to raise their rates by like 25%. So,
oh,
like,
I have SRP
yeah, I
for the
have
salt
APS and I hate
in the
it.
No River. Hmm.
Mm.
Um, and we want to thank those that have contributed to the fund before, like Laura, Tony the Tiger, DJ Image, and the list goes on and on. And you too could be part of that list. How was your weekend? It looks like you're off to a little bit of a rough start there.
My weekend was actually pretty busy, but it really didn't. It wasn't like there wasn't like a lot of. In fact, there was no drag involved actually this last weekend. It was one of the kids' birthdays, so it was like that we did their birthday weekend. So Friday we did Korean barbecue because there's a really good Korean barbecue place up here. And then we came home and last week I had gone ahead and gotten the sports thing for the Switch
Huh?
that has like the volleyball and the bowling. Like,
Oh,
remember
oh,
how
okay,
like the
okay.
Wii
Yeah, yeah,
Sports
yeah,
used
yeah,
to have the
yeah,
Wii
yeah,
Sports? Yeah.
yeah. Hmm.
So I got that for the Switch. And so we spent the evening doing that
Is
with the
that
kids,
bowling?
which there's bowling, tennis, badminton, soccer, golf, volleyball.
Okay, bowling
Um,
was my thing.
there's a few others on there. Um, but I mean, I thought it was fun, and it was great until like the kids like meds like completely worn off, and then it wasn't so great. Um, yeah.
Keep your kids medicated.
Yay, ADHD. Like, it was fine. Everything was going great. There were no issues. Everybody was having fun. And then like the rest of us took a break, and the boys decided to like start playing golf. And oh my god, that just went south real quick.
Well, have you
It
seen
was not as much
full-grown
as.
men play golf? It's kind of the same thing.
Oh my god, it was like that was. I was ready for like they were gonna start throwing down in the living room. Like it was not. There were tantrums were about to be thrown. And then Saturday
Same
we
on golf
went
courses.
to
Same on golf courses.
um. So stupid. It's the stupidest game too. I hate golf. Um, Saturday we went to our daughter's volleyball game. I think they won.
Were
I'm
you
pretty sure they
there?
won. I was, but both teams were not great, so it was kind of hard to tell who was
Woo!
worse. It was, yeah, it was one of
You didn't.
those. It's fine.
Oh.
I think they won. And then came home and I took a nap because I was tired. And then we went actual bowling and
Oh,
played some mini
wow.
golf and an arcade. And so we went to Fat Cats in Mesa. It was actually pretty cool. It was fun. I hadn't gone
Mhm.
bowling in years. I haven't gone bowling since I fucked up my hand, since before I fucked up my hand. So I didn't
Oh,
even know
wow.
what I could do. And I mean, I was never good at bowling. Let's be clear. I was never good at
I
bowling,
still
but
ask
my
for
first
bumpers from time
first
to
frame
time.
out, first frame out, I hit a strike. I was like, oh, okay. I pretty much sucked after that, but it was fine. Um, and then Sunday, we took care of some yard work, started working on the pool so we can get that going. And then steaks were requested for birthday dinner, so I made steaks and stuff on the grill. And
Hmm.
besides that, I have basically been working on my costume for my performance this weekend at Coronation, and all the stuff for Phoenix Fan Fusion, which it's fine. That's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
My brain is on overload. I hear it already.
It's fine. Totally fine. Everything's gonna be great.
Nobody has met producer Freddie.
I they haven't, and I'm like they. If people think I'm
I
kidding about not getting their music in on time and then their shit being cut, they're gonna be in for a very rude awakening. But that's fine. How was your weekend or your month? I guess. How was your month?
You say it like I was just out enjoying myself on some beach
I don't know your
somewhere.
life. I
Oh
don't.
my gosh. I wish that's what I was doing. But I I said when you were going back and forth between your internet soarway, I was saying that I shared on Patreon briefly what I had been doing. And so um I think that I will tell my story more deeply on Patreon, but for the general sense of on the podcast and on here, um, I just been away, and no, I am not on. I didn't go away to a drug treatment. Um, what was the other one? Um, I wasn't looking for new housing. Um, though the market's starting to get a little. So we'll see. But no, just a lot of things going on, and with children in the household, you know how that goes. And for the safety of myself and myself only, and those around me, it was good that I
Mm,
stepped on.
that's fair. Like you, sometimes you gotta. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. Like we've
But I
talked about that.
still say that self care is needed. Um, Learned things about myself. In fact, I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow. So, yeah, learning things about myself that need to be better taken care of. Yeah. hmm
I mean, isn't that true for most of us?
Yeah, but I am pretty good about going to the doctor. So, neglecting certain things is not really my thing. That's not my thing. I'm one like if I sneeze, I book an appointment at urgent care. So yeah, just off dilly dallying on a beach somewhere, as Freddie made it. But I enjoyed the guests that were on. I appreciate you taking full on reign to that because I was like,
I didn't fuck up too badly. Like I managed to
I
get
didn't
it
see,
going. Like I even like.
I didn't say anything. I just
And there was
was.
only one day when I forgot. One week when I forgot to set the thing up, but I handled it for the most part. So I think I did
Oh
all
yeah,
right.
I totally forgot about that. But for the most part, I'm here. I didn't have any drag this weekend. Uh, my daughter is getting ready for prom because she has that chance. I know, long story. But uh, so we got her a gown um, off of Shein.
I thought she
It's actually
graduated already.
long story. Anyway,
Mm.
um, but and getting it tailored, and because not all of our bodies are beautiful in the shape that the designer made the dress in. So we
Well, for me, we know it's because I'm constantly sexually aroused and my abs are swollen.
oh god.
I don't know what everybody else's
uh
excuse is,
oh yes. So
but
I did have weekend gigs, and I think that was the question. Is people were like, "Are you like in some like rehab or?" And I'm
yeah,
like,
you're in rehab that let you out
hmm,
on the weekends to go do drag.
yeah, and I'm drinking too. Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so there you have it. Busy life, busy life over here. You got a busy life. I got a busy life,
It's always a busy
and we're
life. It's never.
kind of standing. This is like the first time I've sat down all day. So,
Right. I know I've got like different projects going on for like between fan fusion and like I'm like I have to write it down. Like I have to take my little chalkboard thing and I have to erase it, and I'm gonna have to put things down so I know what I'm doing for like fan fusion and stuff. Because otherwise, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna have my head's not gonna be screwed on straight. I'm gonna be missing things and I don't know what I'm doing. So yeah. So
ew.
speaking of heads not being screwed on straight, so my tip tonight is inspired by Nothing in particular, I promise. At
No event
all.
no event or person shall be
Mm.
named, but or any claims or whatever the print says at the bottom when they do like
Mm.
the, reenactment.
Right, like certain,
Certain
names or
names
whatever.
have been
Right,
changed. Mhm.
right. Yeah. It's, yeah, oh my god, why did the kids let the dog out and then not bring him back in?
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
we're gonna change the
He's sitting
name of
there.
the podcast to Raising Children because that's
Oh
what
my
we have
god.
turned into.
I'm like, y'all, he's barking. Bring him inside. Ugh. Okay. So, tonight for my tip, we are going to talk about recognizing and acknowledging toxic and problematic people in your community.
In our community?
And any community.
Oh, D
Any
says he barely
community.
went out there.
He's barking. So this can literally be applied to any community. Doesn't
Any?
matter whether it's a performance-based or performance-centered community or like a lifestyle or relationship, doesn't matter what it is.
Mm,
This is something that can be applied to literally any like
mm.
community.
Oh.
So the problem is I think too often folks in a community end up with blinders on when it comes to either prominent people in the community or leaders with very large air quotes around it in said community, or even just people that are around a lot. Like we just kind of
Mhm.
have a tendency to just kind of put those blinders on and we only see what we want to see. Every community has abusers. Every community is going to have apologists and excusers for said abusers. Oh, well, I mean, it was only the one time. Or, I mean, they stayed in the
Oh.
relationship or whatever. Like there's always going to be the people that abuse and there's going to be people that are going to either stay with those abusers. Like I see people that I know have done some not just shady but full on illegal shit in
Oh.
different communities, and like they're running around with different partners and people are still letting them come to their events, and I'm like, what the
Oop.
hell is wrong with you? Why would you even let this person in your space? Like
Mhm.
I don't get it. Every community is going to have people who lie and steal, and and then you have the people that just ignore that. Every
Mhm.
community is going to have racists and transphobes and trans fetishists, and and then the people that just excuse those folks and just ignore the fact that it's even happening. And again, this is every community. This is not something that is specific to the LGBTQ community or whatever it is, or the drag community or whatever. It's not. This is literally something that happens all over the place. The important thing, however, is to recognize the behaviors for what they are, and instead of turning a blind eye or excusing those behaviors, let that person know that said behavior will not be tolerated. Period.
Mhm.
Like, if you know for a fact that someone has assaulted someone else, whether it be physically or sexually, don't turn it into a joke. I've seen that happen. I've seen that happen in our community. I know somebody who is a very prominent figure in this community that has physically assaulted numerous people,
Oh.
some of which I've actually seen with my own eyes.
Oh.
And nobody seems to care. They just turn it into a joke. They've joked about it. They've laughed about it. They're like, "Oh, well, if you do this, and this person's gonna roll up on you." It's like, And then there's the sexual abusers that are out there that we know that happens. Uh,
Mhm.
I've seen people excuse that. I've seen people say, well, yeah, that happened, but they stayed in the relationship, so obviously it wasn't that bad. Do you know anything about abuse? Like, do you like, no, that's not how that works. Like, you don't just, oh, somebody abused me. Okay, well, I'm gonna leave now. Like, that's never how that works.
Oh my god.
Never.
Oh.
Never how that works.
Ever.
And like, let the perpetrator know that they're not welcome in spaces that are meant to be safe spaces.
Mhm.
but nobody does that, and that goes for that's for all of it. That's for all of it. You know, oh my god, I don't know how many times in the drag community I've seen like people that hold fundraisers for whatever cause, and then they just pocket the money.
Mm.
Leaders who can't seem to offer up an actual dollar amount of what was supposed to be donated, even though they've been asked numerous times, and they can't,
Mhm.
you know, they create ways to sort of funnel money, which essentially it almost boils down to like money laundering. Like they're going to create something where the money that they bring in has to go through this thing first, and then
Oh,
maybe some of it'll get donated. Shady, 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 shady. But that
yikes.
transparency is key, and there are people that are transparent when it comes to things like fundraisers and like large charitable events and things. They just these things happen and then you never hear anything else.
I can,
Mm.
and I don't mind. But year over year, I always wonder what happens to those that call out sick from a pageant or two, especially if it's a community based
Mm.
fundraiser based
Mm.
pageant. Um, and I always wonder, like, how is that taken care of? But we allow,
Oh, that
uh,
happens every fucking year. We see it
yeah,
all the time
and
here with Pride. And I'm gonna say it happens with Pride all the fucking time. Like the
mhm,
goal is you're supposed to raise $2,000 to compete, right? So every year people are holding fundraisers, and
sometimes
then
masses amounts of fundraisers,
mhm,
and some of these people put the amount that they have raised on for us to see, which is
mhm,
good, which is good.
mhm,
I commend that. But then all of a sudden it's like, no, no, we're so
right.
I just uh-huh.
Like there's a lot like yeah, there's a lot of shady, shady, shady shit when it comes to that, especially in the drag community. And like I don't know if like with that specific community, I don't know if people are afraid of like losing bookings by holding people accountable. Like, oh, I can't say anything because then this person won't book me, or I'll look like a troublemaker or a shit stir. It's like, but are you the problem, or is the person that's the problem the problem? Like,
Both.
I it's like I don't understand why some of these things are more important than, sticking to your morals and your convictions. Like if you think racism, theft and transphobia and assault and things like that, if you think those things are wrong, then tell people, tell your show producers, tell your group leaders, your conference organizers, tell them, hey, these people have an issue with consent. They should not be hosting a panel on X, Y, and Z because they don't practice any sort of consent,
Mhm.
or, this person really shouldn't be holding fundraisers in your establishment because they have been known to be shady with money, or whatever. This person is racist, this person is transphobic, this person is whatever, why are you letting them in your, and here are the receipts, like not just, well, I think that, no, literally
Ooh.
here's like, because
All
people
I can say is
have them,
today I saw a lot of receipts.
lots of receipts, but there's still people that insist on defending uh other people even after they've seen the receipts, but but the thing is that it can't be like, if it's just one person, then it's like it's your problem, which, and I know for a
Mhm.
fact that multiple people have issues with various problematic people within different communities, but everybody just stays very silent about it. And that's the problem. If enough people speak up, then it'll start making a difference. But if you're too scared because you're afraid of losing a booking, or you're afraid that, the other community members are going to judge you or whatever it is, that's a fucking problem. Like, we always
So
say, ACAB.
can I take this for a spin?
Yes, please,
Can
by
I
all
take
means.
this for a spin? So I think that this also happens in families.
Yes. Yep.
Families.
Mm.
And so in talking to someone today, um, this happens in families. And when um, said toxic family member, whether it's a parent, whether it's a uncle, whether it's, cousin, whatever. It was like, "Oh, you're cutting them off?" And the whole family was like, we should surround them and keep our family as a unit." But
Yeah,
everybody knows
no.
that this person is toxic from the word out of their mouth. That when they show up to the event, they're going to bring the whole gray cloud with them, and they're going
Mm,
to change the tune of the room. And so, but
mhm,
everybody lets them come, or they let Uncle
mhm.
Tyrone get drunk, or they, and every time they come around, everybody goes, "Oh, I can't believe we let that happen. Oh, I can't believe," and you're like, "But we could have prevented that."
Or, like, you have to warn your other family members, like, "Oh, don't let your kids get too close to, like, Uncle Larry because whatever." And it's like, "What?
Yeah,
Why is
and
no, 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 no.
you're
Mm-mm.
like,
No." Yeah, that's
why
that's a
did you
big issue
invite
too.
them?
Right, like, why well, they're family.
Mhm.
No, I'm sorry, that's not a good enough excuse. That no. That's
Well,
not
and I've talked to people where the whole family knows that the abuser is
mm,
mhm,
right.
and they just invite them over for family dinners and act like it's nothing, and so, yikes.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. No, that's like so,
It's okay
like,
to uninvite toxic family members.
it's okay to cut off toxic family members. Be like, "No, I'm
Mhm.
sorry, we're not gonna have you near our kids or our other family members," or like, "No, you are not no, goodbye." Um,
Yeah.
so the analogy that I was gonna use is, we say ACAB, right? All cops are bastards, right? And we
Mhm.
say that because the so-called good cops don't do enough to fight the problems within the system. So you may know somebody that is in law enforcement that is generally a good human, right? But they're
Mhm.
not doing enough or anything to stop the things like systemic racism and all that bullshit, the trigger happy bullshit in the police department that they are a part of. They're afraid to speak up. Why? Because they don't want to lose their job. So
Mm.
by not taking action, their inaction is then enabling the action, which is problematic, right? So honestly,
Mhm.
the same can be applied to the rest of us. So what are you doing to dismantle the problematic people in your community? If you're afraid to speak up, if you're afraid to, call someone out on their bullshit and be like, no, you don't get to shame an entire fucking community for not being where you think they should be when they think they should be there. Like, that's not, then you're part of the problem. If you're afraid to say this person is racist and is not welcome in our show, this person is transphobic and is not welcome at this conference, then
Mhm.
you are then enabling the problem. You are part of the problem. And I have spoken up about people a few times over the years.
I
And
have to
every
say that
single time
mhm.
I
Mm.
get shut down. Every single time I get shut down, I get told I'm starting shit. And I'm like, and then all of a sudden, other people are like, oh my God, this person's a shitty human. No shit.
Where
Pretty sure I
where were
told you
you?
that. Pretty sure I've been saying that.
But I think
Like,
sometimes people have to figure it out for themselves.
they do, but
That's a
also
harsh
when
reality. That's a
like
harsh
a
reality.
person's like shitty behavior is very public, it's like,
I know, but
eh,
you know
I,
how it is. Some people are like, "Oh, that can't be true. Oh, come on."
right.
Sometimes you do find out that's not true, but
It's
for
like,
most cases,
I'm like,
here we
I'm sorry,
are.
I told you this was a problem a decade ago, but how long is long enough for someone to change or to learn or to grow? I'm like, no, 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 no. No, this person was problematic 10 years ago and I called it. This person
Mhm.
was problematic a fucking decade ago and I've said that, but then everybody's like, well, and then I see people working with them and I'm like, wait. this person still says really shitty things.
Mhm.
Well, they're learning and we're trying to teach them. Okay, well, how much longer are you going to give them? Because I'm over it. And there are people that I will flat out refuse to work with now. And
Mhm.
like, there are people who I have spoken up about at various events and things that, or like, if we know that this person has a problem with things, say like consent, and I know that people have had issues with them and consent in the past, be like,
Mhm.
y'all need to say something, because if these people, they can't be allowed to do this. They can't be allowed to teach anything to do with consent when they don't even practice what they preach. And enough people in that instance, enough people actually came forward that had consent issues, that the people in the had the people that were problematic were actually 86'd from
Mhm.
that specific event, for basically from here on out, because no, like, it's not okay. It's not okay at all. And we need to stop excusing bad behavior and shitty humans. You can, all right, someone says something problematic or someone does something that's an issue. Okay. Did they learn? Are they continuing to do it? Have they changed at all? No. I don't know what to tell you. We need to hold people, we need to hold community leaders, and we need to hold our friends accountable. And I've been saying that for years too. Because if
Mhm.
you're ignoring the fact that your friends all want to go out to the bar and fucking fight people, that's a problem. And if you don't hold these people accountable, if you don't hold your community leaders accountable, if you don't hold your friends accountable, if you don't hold these people accountable, you cannot complain when the behavior continues or when it escalates, because now you are part of the problem, because you have turned a blind eye, you have ignored it, and you have let it get to this point, and you have let them believe that this behavior is acceptable, because it just keeps happening again
Mhm.
and again and again and again and again and again. And like I said, this is not something that is unique to the drag community or the LGBTQ community. This is something that happens in the poly community. This is something that happens in the kink community. This is something that happens in the leather community. This is something that happens all over.
I
And
will also say that there are also people that run businesses that do the same thing.
yep,
There are people like sometimes I'll find out a photographer has done something, and I'm like, well,
yep,
there goes something for the rest of us because now
yep,
they've ruined it for all of us because they don't know what consent is or they don't know how to properly address people by pronouns and
right,
just ooh, so much. And so you go, oh, okay, put that on a list,
right.
not to work
Like I
with
said,
them.
it is literally in every fucking community. So if you think that your community happens to be immune from this, then you are incredibly naive and really ignorant and not observant in the slightest. So y'all, do better about holding people accountable. Do better about, maybe, I
I
don't know,
will
like,
say that we have had one instance like this, and the person continued. So I can say this.
mhm,
But what happened today was unacceptable. Really, it was. Uh, Especially for those that are in mourning. Um,
mhm.
we experienced something similar to this, but not as in somebody had passed, but we experienced some experiences with somebody that was an entertainer that came here and lived here for a little bit and almost was
Oh,
on our
yeah.
show the
Mhm.
week that dismissal was
Mhm.
happening. And I was
Yep.
like, I don't know what's going on, but we're gonna have to ask you not to be on the show.
Right.
And very gaslighting coming at me.
Oh,
Uh
yeah.
but years later, here we are, and just was it a couple weeks ago I saw a
Mhm.
message that this same person is
Mhm.
traveling
Mhm.
and doing the same things that they were
Mhm.
doing here. And I was
Yep.
like, oh my goodness. So red flags are everywhere. Red flags are in relationships. Red flags are in the people that we essentially call our coworkers. Because I feel like sometimes uh, I don't see all of y'all outside of your dregs. So we're coworkers,
Right.
and um, and some of us are friends, but most of us are coworkers. But um, I sometimes I can't believe some of the stuff that I read, and if you all, and I know most of you know this about me, but if I stop and comment on something, that means I had thoroughly thought, okay, I cannot scroll past this. This is mm, we cannot.
Right.
And today I did not comment because I have not come up with the words.
I there's there I I've had to hold my tongue on a few things because I'm like, all I keep saying is this isn't new. This is not new. The shit that's happening now is not new. The shit that's happening now is shit that's been happening for a decade. But everybody's suddenly
And
surprised about it.
so this person
Like the
has
people that have been
approached
around, I'm like, not new, y'all, but
this
whatever.
person approached someone who we both adore, and I have not yet heard or spoken about this topic with them, but then they send me an invite to a show. I'm like, what kind of smoke and mirrors are we playing here? No,
It's
no, 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 no. You
no.
already you already pressed the disrespect button. I can't really undo that. So,
Yeah, it's
mhm,
hold do a better job at holding people accountable. Like
mhm.
pay attention. Don't just ignore problematic shit. Don't just pretend like it's not going to happen or pretend it's not happening. Like actually pay the fuck attention, and if you see something be like, "Hey, that wasn't cool," or "This isn't okay." If they continue to double down, then
They
seems like
did.
maybe they can't be taught. Like
They did.
then you need to like shit needs to we everybody needs to do better. In whatever community you need to do better.
So I have a huge favor because a lot of the people that were in tune to what we're talking about to happen today, uh, I have a huge favor. So I would love. I did not meet the person that we're mourning.
I didn't either, unfortunately. It's
But I feel like because I'm that person that if we're gonna be, I feel like it still took away from her. And so I would just ask that we go back to celebrating her and giving her the respect that she deserves as we try to, uplift her life and celebrate it because this even though I did not know her, it was great to see all the the pictures and the
mhm,
videos and and somehow I'm getting to know her, and it in some form she deserves more of that instead of what happened today. Uh,
right.
it definitely got what it reminds me of is tabloid scandals because
Mm,
celebrities always do like, oh, like Britney Spears shaving her head, or oh, somebody didn't wear panties as they were getting out of the
right,
limo. Like this was not the right moment, nor was it called for.
right.
And I understand shock value. I work in marketing. I understand it, but not on the deceased at all. I ugh. So. Mm,
It's
mhm.
messy. It's fucking messy. Fucking messy as fuck.
Speaking of
Anyway,
messy,
we do have some headlines for y'all this evening.
was this today?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh my god.
Mm,
Whew. Oh, look. Another shooting in less than what? 4 days?
probably.
Uh, Currently, there are four injured and one dead in Atlanta after a man became agitated during a medical appointment. During his he drew his handgun and began shooting. Hmm.
Makes sense. Um, yeah.
Uh, is this on here? Is there another one on here? So there was another shooting as well
Hmm.
that the the neighbor didn't like
Yeah.
the noise or something
Hmm.
they were having a dispute. Uh, so the husband couldn't get the neighbor to calm down. Oh, he was shooting the gun off in his yard. Apparently, there's some states and counties that have laws that you can shoot your guns off, whatever. And so the male counterpart of her partner said, "Please stop that. You're disturbing us." He goes back in the house, says, he's not listening." And she goes out there, and her words were, "I'm gonna go over there. He won't shoot me. I'm a woman."
Yeah.
Well, ugh, scary thought. Um, there are no boundaries now because people don't care,
Mm-mm.
and so that actually happened too. I think
Yep.
that was yesterday or the day before.
Yeah.
Scary.
New York becomes the first state to ban natural gas stoves and furnaces in most new buildings, which makes total sense because those natural gas stoves, they're definitely the problem, not guns or anything. So let's ban stoves, y'all.
Or
I think
have you
that's
seen the
like, what is
size of
that?
the rats in New York?
I feel
Oh
like that's the
no.
Third Amendment, the right to have a gas stove. Are people
I
infringing
miss
on my
my
on my
gas
amendment? I
stove.
feel like that's like my God. If someone tries to ban my gas stove, we gonna have problems. I
Oh,
will
you do have a
fight
gas
you.
stove.
I will fight you. You are not taking my fucking stove. You can take my stove when you pry it from my cold, dead hands.
I don't know if you have neighbors that shoot off.
Then they can go ahead and shoot off in their own stoves, not mine. God
Yes,
damn it.
Ben, I know that gas stoves are the best, but I I I didn't choose the stove that was in here.
Banning fucking stoves. Like,
I feel
why are
like
we
somebody
not banning
banned
the things that
stoves,
actually
gas
fucking
stoves
matter?
against
Like, oh, I
me.
don't know, assault rifles.
Not drag queens or drag entertainers, but here we are. Anyway, two 10-year-olds were found working in Louisville McDonald's. Hmm. I can't even get the fry order right at the one where I never mind.
Well, that's why.
Uh,
It's because they have toddlers working at yours and they can't reach the fryer.
Apparently, this is a trend in the Southeast since three franchisees own 60 McDonald's in Kentucky, Indiana, what is that?
Maryland.
Maryland, Ohio, and they hired 305 underage kids. Where are their parents?
Eh,
Anyway, because, who needs child
we don't
labor
need.
laws? Uh,
Fuck
I mean,
child actors. It's not a child actor anymore. Now you're a child McDonald's worker.
oh my gosh. Well, I guess if they're not in school, then I
Oh,
guess
who
they're
needs education?
safer?
Nobody needs education. It's
Where are
fine.
we going with this? Oh my god. Hello,
Yeah.
country, are we there?
No.
Oh,
So a
speaking of
cockroach on
looks,
the red carpet, of the Met Gala, upstaged the celebrities this year, which is kind of fitting, actually, considering this year's gala was honoring Karl Lagerfeld, who was himself basically a cockroach. He was an awful human who was terrible to women, fat people, immigrants, people of color, and sexual assault survivors. Lagerfeld died in 2019, so I'm guessing that this was probably his reincarnated self coming back one more time.
wow. Wow. I want to say that the roach actually got some screen time and got photos taken, so
Hmm.
major win for the cockroach population.
That's what I'm
You
saying. I'm telling
go.
you, that was Lagerfeld. He was coming back for one more go round. He probably freaked out because he saw a whole bunch of like people of color, women, and black people in like designs that were mimicking his.
Best photo of the Met Gala is not on the runway. It is of Lizzo eating French fries in a McDonald's kitchen. If you go to her,
She's eating fried chicken in the hotel kitchen,
oh, is it the hotel kitchen?
and
It is the best
she's
photo
she did
ever.
that in a design that actually was
Yes,
mimicking
yes,
a Karl Lagerfeld design because
that's what
she's
I was gonna
black, she's
say.
fat, and was
And she
basically a
basically
fuck
did the
you.
best fuck you picture I've ever seen
Yep.
in my entire life.
It was brilliant. It was amazing. Did you see Michelle Yeoh? Oh my god, her dress was
Yes. So
absolutely
one thing that
beautiful.
was beautiful about this, and the whole thing almost was like a fuck you, was like there were so many people of color that
Mhm.
were just in beautiful designs,
Mhm.
that it was almost like we want to hear you crawl in your grave kind of thing.
Right. That's where the roach
So
came. That's yeah.
he said, I can't stand this anymore. I can't stand this. Let's see. A woman in Florida carried a baby who had no kidneys to term because she was unable to get an abortion. My goodness. Uh, she had very little. I never can say that word, but
Amniotic fluid.
you're welcome. And early on, the ultrasounds showed that the fetus had no kidneys, which meant it would never survive, and carrying it to term was a super high risk. Uh, yeah, and usually they would terminate this. So instead of being able to terminate the pregnancy, she had to go through the full 9 months knowing what her baby is going to die, right?
Mhm.
Because that makes total sense. And yes, she could travel, but not everyone has the funds to be able to do so.
Yeah. Cuz yay Florida. Fucking so apparently what's happening in Florida is doctors have the ability to terminate a pregnancy if after 15 weeks if it looks like the fetus is going to be non-viable. However, the problem with that is that none of the doctors are willing to say that a fetus is going to be non-viable
Why? It's
because
medically.
they're afraid. They're afraid that, oh my god, what if maybe it is going to be viable? What if it can live? Okay, so it can live with like half its brain outside its body, but does it want to? Like, come on. So they're all
So,
afraid that, and I mean, if you want to get technical, when the baby was born, it took a breath and then lived for about 15 minutes. So, do we call that viable? Do we call that
here's the
non-viable?
thing. Here's the thing.
And they're not
The
gonna like they're all too afraid because they're afraid that someone's gonna come back and like throw it in their face. It's so fucking stupid. My baby could have lived. Prove it. Your baby could not have lived. It had no
wow.
organs. Like, yeah. Um,
Yikes.
yeah. After a 60-year scientific quest, the FDA has now approved a vaccine for RSV. So anybody who works in childcare, especially if with younger
Oh.
kids, you know that RSV tends to run rampant. Like it goes through kids, it goes like it's crazy. It's super
Hmm.
contagious. And if you work at a preschool or a daycare, like once one gets it, everybody's gonna get it, right? So of course, it makes sense that the vaccine is approved for people 60 and older.
Oh. You know what? You got me all excited. I was like, well, I work
Mm.
around people all day.
Now, I get
Uh,
it. Like, it can, that sort of a virus can be deadly to the elderly, but also maybe if you vaccinated, oh, I don't know,
the
kids
teachers.
and teachers and parents that are around the people, i.e., little small germ mongering children that carry and are very susceptible to getting RSV, maybe then you'd lessen the risk of, transmitting it to older people. But, what the fuck do I know?
But we found this out with COVID. They did the same stupid thing.
So fucking stupid. Like, okay, great. So vaccinate the elderly, but
Because I tried to get vaccinated. Remember, I tried to
like,
get vaccinated,
right.
and I was like, I got young kids, and they're like, nah,
Well, it's like the shingles vaccine. I can't get. I've had shingles,
nah,
but I can't get the shingles vaccine. I have to be over 50.
nah.
I'm like, okay, but I would say like if you've had chicken pox, then you should be able to get the shingles vaccine
Unless
because
there's
that
some
means that you have
scientific
it.
fact that you shouldn't get it too soon. But
I don't think there is. I think that it's just that it tends to be more. It
I
tends
can't tell
to,
you nothing. Gay men
folks that
still can't
like,
give blood,
I,
so
which is just the stupidest shit. I don't know.
we're
Like, so
still
you
afraid
have
of
these
the
people that are 60
age
and
gap.
older that are, getting vaccinated for RSV, and that's again, okay, great, that's good. But what about the people that
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm like, what,
I like to be on that list, please. Hmm. But it'll
so
probably be
stupid.
next year when the kids are all grown. It's fine.
I don't know. They still don't let anybody below 50 get the fucking shingles vaccine. I've had shingles,
Oh,
which means that it could pop up anytime again.
oh!
But
Don't say that out
eh,
loud.
I'm
We
just
have things to
saying.
do in the next couple weeks.
I don't know. I don't have time to have shingles. I'll just have to power through it like I did in 2019 when I had it at AIDF. I'm just gonna have to power through that shit. Just
Oh, I forgot about that. Hmm.
yeah, that was not so fun. 0 out of 10. Do not recommend.
Well, the way you got it, I don't
Mm-mm.
recommend that ever.
Nope. Not even a little
Oh, I
bit.
forgot to change this.
Not even a little bit. Um, let's see. What gigs do we have coming up? Oh, so Thursday, I am doing Drag Story Hour bingo at the Drink Me Tea Room. It's bingo. It is not a drag story hour. It is just bingo. It is an 18 and over event. So it is an adults only. There will be no children there for me to corrupt or read uh the genitals with the books. Although maybe I can get my genitals to like pull the bingo balls because that would be ooh. You know how they do it? I've seen this happen in like some of the bars in like Thailand where they shoot the ping pong balls. Wonder if I could make that happen with the bingo balls.
I'm
I'm gonna
sure
call
they
bingo
don't have
with
that.
my genitals.
Did Minnesota pass a bill today that bans conversion therapy in their state?
Um,
Well, I
I don't
just
know if
want
it
you
was
to know that
it,
Arizona does not.
correct. I don't know if it was today. I know a state recently did. I don't know if it was another one that was other than Minnesota, but I know at least a couple of states have started banning conversion therapy, so that's good.
This
Um,
this state is still allowed, so be careful,
shocker.
folks.
Um, so I'm gonna work on like bingo balls with my genitals.
Yikes!
See how that goes. And then on Saturday, I am the Empress's command performance at Coronation. Which okay, I'm just gonna throw this out here. Okay, so Coronation's an unpaid gig. I get it, right? It's fine.
Mhm.
It's whatever. I've done a few of them. I know the drill. I know how it goes. But here's the thing. I'm just gonna throw this out here for y'all involved in the court for future reference. If you're gonna invite like a command performer or something, at least let them sit down and have dinner. Just saying.
Oh,
Just feed them. Just
wait,
gonna throw that out there.
wait.
No, you
I think.
stay away in a you don't actually get to go into coronation. You basically have to stay outside because you don't have a ticket.
Oh,
Yeah. So we're gonna go in this little room where I'm gonna get ready and I'm gonna perform and I'm gonna go back and
I
I'm
was
just
a
gonna
part of a command performance once, and I got to sit and eat.
they generally don't feed you. It kind of sucks, but that's okay.
Maybe I snuck back
Um
in. Maybe I'm different.
maybe. Yeah. So that's happening on
Just an
Saturday.
update
So the
on
folks that are going to coronation, I will see you there.
update. Let's see. Minnesota governor signs bill. And I'm just reading headlines. I have not gone deep into this. Signs bill protecting reproductive gender affirming care, and banning conversion therapy. I think the headline means that it's protecting reproductive
Yeah.
rights.
Yes. Yeah.
But yes, three things, and it says that Minnesota is aiming to be a refuge for people seeking protection against all of those things. Which means, again, we have another set of people that will travel, but not everybody can.
Right.
So
Right. Yeah.
there we have it. Let's see. On Sunday, I will be at Stacy's for Magic. And then on, as I type it in, on May 13th, we will be at Gracie's for Sex Trivia. It
Come
starts
see
at
my
8,
abs swell.
and you'll find
Swell.
out how engorged Freddie's abs can get. When I tell you I laughed so hard, I cried
It was kind of
within
funny. It
minutes.
was, oh my
I
God, Felicia was dying.
and I couldn't say anything. That's how hard I was laughing. I was. Mm, it was so funny.
For those of you that haven't been to Sex Trivia yet, you need to make time and you need to come out because
And stop
it's a good
sending
time.
us
It's fun.
messages that say, "Oh, I wish we could come out." Make the time. We like tell people a month in advance. Where are
Seriously,
you?
like it's like weeks in advance when we tell you. So figure it out. But you need to come out. It's a good time. It's fun. And then the weekend of June 2nd is Phoenix Fan Fusion. So there's a bunch of things happening. On Friday is the drag show, followed by the burlesque show. The burlesque show is actually being produced by Three Fates Reviews. So that would be Peppermint Schnapps and Luna Love Button. I get to MC it. I'm excited. I know the acts that are going to be in it, and they're so fucking good. So make sure that if you are at Fan Fusion, the first weekend in June, the drag show I believe is all ages. Pretty sure drag show is all ages. The
I
burlesque show
think so.
definitely is not. But make sure that you make time Friday night to come and watch both of those because it's gonna be a good time. But also Friday and Saturday at noon are we have drag story hours happening, which I'm super excited for.
I
Friday
must have missed the
fairy
sign up for
tale
that.
and fantasy themed, so that one is going to be super fun. And then Saturday is going to be like sci-fi themed. So come check those out.
Yeah, I
I'm actually
definitely
reading
missed
at both
that.
of them. I'll be dressed as Captain Hook on Friday, and then Saturday I'll be reading as an Endorian. So this will be super
Oh,
fun.
that sounds so
Um,
cute.
yeah, so come out and do the thing, and come support us. Felicia is also in the drag show at Fan Fusion.
Oh, I thought you said
Um,
drag story hour. I was like, no, we taking a
no,
little
no, no,
break at the
no, Fan
moment.
Fusion, no, the drag story, no, the drag show.
Mm.
There's so the come make sure that you come out and support us if you happen to be wandering around. Come hang out at the drag story hour because it's not just for kids. We love you. And then drag show and burlesque Friday night to make sure that you come out to that because that'll be super fun.
And Guido put in one of the episodes because somebody was asking about VIP. I believe, are they on sale now, or
I
should we
haven't
go?
seen them yet. I have no idea. I haven't.
But keep your eye out on the page. That I don't know. But as soon as we know, we can tell you. But last time they did it, it was like very like snap of the hat, and they were gone pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So
So like keep an eye on the Phoenix Fan Fusion Facebook page. That's probably your best bet. Um yeah, I
yes,
have
they
no
were
idea.
gone
I
the
haven't
last time.
seen
Last time I said, "Oh, here they are," and then somebody was like, "They're sold out," and I was like, "Oh,
right.
hmm,
Right.
okay. See you at Fan Fusion."
Yeah.
I can't.
Thank
I don't
you.
have any control
But
over that.
I'm gonna say that the way that we're doing the drag show is gonna be a little bit different with some things this year. There's going to be more like group numbers, which means that like half the audience won't lose the entertainer when they get off the stage, which means that like the group numbers are going to be fun and entertaining. They'll be on the stage, which means that everybody should be able to pretty much see them, instead of like people getting off the stage and then they get lost in the crowd and you can't see them at all. So,
Mhm.
but we've got some super fun group numbers planned. I'm excited for them. So definitely make sure that you come and check it out because we're trying something a little bit different.
Yay! Um, and since I like religion, no, I'm just kidding. This is not what I just. Yeah. Uh, Take your vitamins, kids. Take your vitamins. So next week we will be having Christine, not Christian Vibrant. Christine Vibrant.
It sounded like a revival.
Anyway, of her podcast is called Vibrant Voices, and I was on there, but the episode, so she'll be on the 10th, and my episode premieres or is shown on the 11th. Yes. And yeah, you should be on the podcast because you have a great experience to talk about.
Do I have a vibrant voice?
Something like that. Um, and we're working on other guests, but I feel like we're wrapping up the season pretty soon. So I don't know how many people we can shove in a couple more episodes, but and plus the summer goes by so quickly, you won't even know that we were gone, and then we'll be back at it anyway. So anyhow, thank you for joining the conversation tonight. Thanks for welcoming me back.
You've been a
Not
great
that
guest host. We'll see
not
who we
that
have
you
next
had a
week.
choice. Oh, you want to do that? Okay. I'll just sit here. I'll just sit here. I play with my hair anyway. Anyway, thank you all for who watch live and who watch on the replay, and those that are respectful to others in our community and don't try to jump them or degrade them or take away their vibrant celebration of life. And with more than 10K downloads, I was so
That's
excited. I was like,
exciting. Like,
oh,
for some
yes.
people that might not seem like a lot, but I'm like, I think that's pretty good. Like, I mean, considering, I don't know,
I feel like we're
I
like
didn't
that.
have any expectations when it came to like the podcast, so I was like, whatever. But
Yeah,
like,
I feel like
I'm
we're
not
like that small town podcast that everybody's like, oh yeah, we listen to that, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I did not expect 10,000 downloads,
right.
but hello, thank
Now we
you.
need, if we can get like a production company or something to like pick us up and like have us like syndicated or something, that would be great.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
But anyhow, thank you for all that and continuing to support us. We will see you next week for your Wednesday night conversation.
Good
Good
night.
night.